Hi, I'm Jarrett Sullivan.
And I'm Jess Ayers.
Welcome to Opening the Vault,
where we watch every Disney animated feature in chronological order.
This week, we're watching this one's very favorite movie, Lady and the Tramp.
This is my favorite Disney movie, I think, ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
I guess let's just watch it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Open your heart and build some glowing memories as Walt Disney takes you into that wonderful world you always hoped did exist and never knew for sure until now, the world of dogs. To anyone who's ever owned a dog, loved a dog, or just wanted a dog, this picture is yours, heart and soul.
Gosh, this movie.
Oh, I love this movie so much. I cry every time I watch it.
Yeah, I know that at the end, Trusty is gonna get his scent back, and every single time it's just right to the feels.
I mean, when they're in the pound and the dogs are all sitting and they're sad and they're crying because they don't have homes, and it kills me.
It's a montage of sad dogs. Right from the beginning, something I forgot about was this film is dedicated to all dogs everywhere.
I forgot about that too.
So it's just this amazing moment to start with. It's absolutely stunning.
It is. It's so pretty.
It's the first animated film shot in CinemaScope, or at least the first Disney animated film in CinemaScope. So it's widescreen and not Academy full screen format. When Walt sprung this on the animators, they had to figure out a new way to kind of lay out the characters. Motion is a lot different. It's harder to do close-ups.
I love the way this film looks. Just the Victorian aesthetic is so pretty. But then the dogs themselves are kind of cartoony, but still realistic in the way that they move and just their little tails.
And you know that Lady is a Cocker Spaniel.
Right.
You know, Scotty's a Scott dog and Trusty is an old hound dog. Bloodhound.
Scotty's a Scott dog.
Right? Scottish Terrier.
Jock.
I don't know why Scotty.
Jock is a Scottish Terrier.
Jock is a Scottish Terrier.
Or he may actually be a Cairn Terrier, because he does make a Cairn pun at one point. And
it's so good. All the shots are from the dog perspective, so they're all lower. You do see Jim Deere and Darling's faces, which I forgot, but not much of them.
Not really, though.
You just sort of see them, and Jim's got a cool mustache, and they live in this awesome Victorian house, and it's really beautiful. It's like a turn-of-the-century Victorian aesthetic. It's back. We saw it in all the shorts, and over again, Main Street USA, and I think this is probably the prime example of that aesthetic. There are still some questionable content in this movie. Not as bad as Peter Pan, but there is the laughable Irish cop stereotype.
Oh, yeah.
Which, as someone who's Irish, I'm not offended by. I just kind of roll my eyes at it. It could be considered bad, but at least he's not drunk.
No, he's not drunk. But he does kind of bully that guy.
He sure does. I was worried that the Siamese cats were going to be kind of stereotypical, but the parts that could maybe be questionable kind of can be pushed more on the whole cat part of them instead of this Asian stereotype. But it's not great.
But if you look at them, they have sort of the way that they're drawn.
The buck teeth,
the buck teeth and the Asian the sun hat shape of their heads, which is kind of naturally how Siamese cats look anyway. They look like they have points.
Yeah, if they would have exaggerated a bit more, it would be but since it's kind of borderline, you're all right.
The fact that they are voiced by Peggy Lee kind of.
Yeah,
it's iffy.
That's not good.
Because she kind of does do an Asian accent when she sings. So it's borderline offensive, I think.
The movie does a really good job showing Tramp's rougher edges, but then all these positive things, liking the puppy. He saves Lady. He fights.
He fights off some really mean looking street dogs. that are chasing Lady at one point, so he fights them off.
Yeah, they really show, like, they still look like real dogs, but they're like, wow, these ones are the mean ones, versus every dog we've seen at this point has been very attractive in one way or another. And the only real sinister character is the rat.
Right.
Which we see at the beginning, and then they bring back at the end, which is excellent. But they really... There were earlier versions of him, apparently, that weren't as, like, scary, but to increase the tension, Walt was like, no, we need to do something with this rat. And so they made him a lot scarier.
That rat scared me when I was a little kid.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Totally freaked me out.
The music and the lightning and the babies crying
storm,
and stuff falling around. And I noticed that in the heavier action moments, the animators kind of let the background dissolve a bit to give the motion and like action work. Stupid Aunt Sarah has Tramp hauled off, and Jock and Trusty are like, I know he was rough, but I wouldn't have ever expected him to attack a baby, huh? And then it's like immediately they're like, oh, there was a rat, and they're like, we misjudged him. Yeah. We are wrong. And they like immediately realize what's happening, that they're wrong, and they take that responsibility. And it's like such a moving moment. Like, and like Trusty gets his scent back, and it's amazing. And like they had set that up earlier that he can't smell anything, and then he gets it, and he does his howl, and it's this big like blood dog howl, and then he gets hit by the truck thing.
The carriage, yeah.
The carriage, and Jock does his howl, and you think he's dead. One, we're dog lovers, and so there's that. It might be a reason why we're such dog lovers.
I think I do have to credit Disney movies with nurturing that love of dogs.
Yeah, and probably why I was suspicious of cats for decades.
Me too.
One funny thing I learned is Walt originally wanted to cut the spaghetti scene. He thought it would be not realistic and not romantic enough. But Frank Thomas was like, no, this has to happen. And he animated it himself completely, showed it to Walt, and Walt was like, oh, this is great. And then it's like the iconic scene.
Right. It's the scene everyone talks about. It's the one everyone remembers.
And I guess Tony and Joe are kind of Italian stereotypes, but in like the happiest, like best way.
Right. They're not. They're definitely caricatures of Italian guys.
Talk with their hands. Hey, da, da, da.
Hey, oh, it's a budge.
Yeah, they kind of talk like Mario.
Yeah, they do. And so it's a little ridiculous, but they're good-hearted.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
People. So I don't mind the stereotype. Maybe if I were Italian, I would feel differently, but I think it's a sweet stereotype because they're nice characters.
Yeah, and they indicate that Tramp has had some other girls around, and he's like, you should have settled down with this one. Yeah, but she's like, what do you mean this one? And Tramp's like, and he's like, oh, this one. They don't speak English so good. And that's really funny. Then that sets up when they set up the other girls in the pound later, and you're like, oh, okay. And everything is very well introduced and then like paid off, like over and over again. I don't think there's an open moment that doesn't have a closing sequence to it. Like everything that's set up is resolved. Flow of the movie is really good, and the music is fantastic.
The transitions are really nice.
What a good movie.
Yeah, and it's just so pretty. I love this movie.
So it's Lady and the Tramp. I mean, it's almost perfect for pretty much any age, I think. It's an hour 15, so like a small child might have a hard time sitting through all of it.
Especially because there are some slower moments.
Yeah. The romantic moments are really great.
But they are a little on the slow side, and so little kids might not have the attention span.
But, like, the most stressful thing is stressful with the rat and the baby and all that. But it's scary. Not too much. And if you haven't seen Lady and Tramp, you need to see Lady and Tramp. What are you doing? Stop right now and go watch it.
It's so good. I love it.
What's your earliest memory of Lady and the Tramp? Let us know in the comments down below. You can find all our social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And we put videos up on Facebook, some behind the scenes and extra stuff, and fun pictures when we go to Disneyland. You can find us there. And there's a subscribe button.
You should push that.
You should push that subscribe button.
Join us next week when we watch Sleeping Beauty.
The castle's in Anaheim, so Sleeping Beauty, here we come.
All right.
And as they say at the Disney parks, have a magical day.